What up, theshadowlord here, and today you join me on a brand new video. And today's video, we're going to be trying something new. Going to be analysing some of our own gameplay. Now, in these games, I was playing as Warlock, Healing Shaman. So we're going to be opening with the first game, which is going to be against a Havoc and a Arms, or a Fury Warrior, I believe. No, it's a Fury Warrior. Now, in the opening game, I chose to go with Root, mainly for the Havoc. Now, I didn't really make many mistakes this game, but the main thing that actually cost us the game, this is actually a loss, I kind of want to talk about a little bit, is the positioning error, which we'll go over in a moment. But just on the start of this game, I'm just going to be kiting around. Now, notice they get me into a full stun. At this point, I'm still fine. The second this guy pops mana, I'm going to be looking to link. So I press the link, and I am now trying to stabilize. I also press Earthshield Totem, because they both used offensive abilities. I used the Gateway with my Warlock to get away. Now, at this point, I'm fine. I should have stayed here. We're just going to root and slow the two DPS that are trying to kill me. So my kind of thought process here is I'm just going to try and stay as far away because they're going to try and reset the fight. And now it's our time for us to go offensive on them. So my Warlock's going to start drain souling the Havoc Demon Hunter. And then the Warrior's going to charge him. And then my Warlock's going to howl the Warrior. So I'm going to Hex the Havoc just to get him off me. Now, the first mistake of the game is just coming up of this game. And I used the Root Tome and then I Gust of Wind. Now, this Gust of Wind was something that actually ended up killing me, as you'll see in just a moment, because of this stun. Now, what I should have done is I should have just stayed on the pillar that I was on, and I shouldn't have carried on running. And if I was going to carry on running, I should have just stayed on the pillar that I Gust of Winded to and tried to run round. I didn't really have a lot of cooldowns. I should have not. Actually, I tried to use Ascendance, but then I get silenced, and then I'm dead. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit back here, and we're going to watch that little run from when I've actually got the, from the Gust of Wind. So we're going to jump with our Gust of Wind, which is fine. Then the Warrior stuns us and charges us. So far, this is not a problem. Now, the first mistake I did was running to the next pillar instead of running around the pillar I was at. Now, I should have popped Ascendance and tried to output healing. Now, I just sat on Ascendance. Now, I thought I was fine in my defense after this game. So, that's mainly why we didn't use Ascendance. But, as you can see, I did end up dying. So, we're going to jump into the next game. Jumping into the second game, we're going to be up against a Restoration Druid and a Ret Paladin. Now, during the starting room, I accidentally misclick my Ascendance, so that is the first problem of not me having Ascendance. Now, the Red pushes in the opener and pops Freedom because he's trying to get a opener on me. So I instantly slow him, and now the Druid is looking to get a clone on my Warlock. So my Warlock fears him. I get full stun, and this is going to be into Paladin Wings. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to be needing to use a defensive, because I'm going to be taking extra damage. So I use Castless Walking, get kicked instantly. I Gust of Wind to the next pillar, and then I keep attempting to heal. I drop a stun on me and try and stand in it. This is a tip I would give to any Shamans. They're actually going to be kited by a melee because then you'll actually be able to get away. I drop a slow totem so to make sure that he has to use Freedom and use a global on applying the Freedom. We get his Divine Steed. I'm just going to keep kiting around this pillar because I'm fine. I've kited most of the wings and I only really needed to use one cooldown, which is really, really good. And then we're going to be, the Warlock's going to be ferrying my Paladin off, which I don't think I actually need to do, but I'm looking to go offensive. We're looking to go offensive now, so I'm going to Hex the Druid full, and my Warlock is going to basically do as much damage as he can to the Paladin, while I am just trying to carry on kiting the Paladin. We get the Paladin's kick there. Now, this is something that I would recommend that Shamans do when they are full or close to full health. Try and get the melee's kicks before you actually are going to need to be casting. Then I get stunned and have to instantly Trinket and Gust of Wind into my Warlock, pushing a Howl on their team just to get them off me while I Gust of Wind into our pillar. I actually end up fake casting, or I think our Warlock end up getting kicked at that point by the Paladin. So I drop a stun just to be sure, because I'm completely fine. Our team's completely fine. I'm going to set a full clone here, which is completely fine still, because the Warlock is fine. He still has a wall. The Paladin does not have wings. I'm going to be able to top our Warlock soon. There was a questionable gateway from the Warlock. I'm unsure whether we actually needed to do that, but I now, because he did that, definitely have him. It's 100%. I'm trying to say mana efficient by casting Healing Wave over Healing Surge. and I'm looking to get a queen off. Now, we got the paladin's kick again. Now, something that I do quite frequently, which worked out quite well during these games, was quickly flip between the pillars. So the starting pillar and the middle pillar, I was just going to be flipping between. I then get a hex on the paladin just to try and get pressure. He ends up either then getting dispelled by the druid, so I drop a stun to follow up. And I'm looking for my warlock to actually try and go offensive on their druid, which he starts to do. And at this point, it's just to kind of just keeping maintaining. And I'm trying to look to see where DRs are, because I'm trying to mess around with where my gladiator's placement is, so I can see where DRs and such are. And we're just basically going to sit here looking for CC opportunities, such as now. We're going to get the druid in a full hex, but he actually ends up forming it, which is kind of depressing, but that would have been a really cool full hex. Now, it seems that the paladin is just doing a little bit of damage to our paladin, or warlock, sorry. So we're just going to be, as I said before, trying to just kind of preemptively damage, get the healing range down and stuff, because I'm going to be in CC. We see some paladin wings here, so I'm looking to actually start kiting. I'm going to drop a stun totem, then it may hit him. It didn't end up hitting him. Against paladins, in most cases, you actually have to trinket the 5-second fist or the 5-second hammer of justice, because otherwise you are just going to die in that 5 seconds. Now, I think I learned this was just after the game where I messed up my positioning, and as you can see here, the positioning is a lot stronger. I'm bouncing between pillars. I'm using my gust of wind off cooldown, just trying to get a gap between me and this paladin all the time, but he is not having any of it. He's back on me as well. The druid is trying to relocate because they go for a kill on me to be able to get a clone on the warlock, so he got fear off. And I'm going to be using Earth Shield Totem. Now, I'm stunned here. Now, this is just a very simple use of cooldowns that got a bit sketchy there. Now, I was okay, and I got really low, but I knew I had a link and a Earth Shield Totem to follow up. So, I knew I wasn't actually going to die, and the paladins didn't have a stun or wings down. Now, the warlock is actually going to be taking some quite high heat here, but I'm on stun DR, which is really, really nice, because that stun, if it was full, would have actually meant that my warlock was a lot lower. I'm just going to stop myself from getting into clones by using my wind shear. I'm now going to eat one full clone here. Now, this is where the first main problem of this game actually comes into, because I'm now going to sit a full clone, but the stun totem forces the paladin to use this bubble to get out of it. I'm on 1 second clone DR. Now, the stun was good, but again, I think my main problems on Shaman right now are just positioning, because if we go back and look at the game again from the point when we actually had the stun, I had a gust available, a stun available, and a hex available, and I also had a couple of totems available. Now, it's possible that the warlock could have walled, but that first clone I could have lost, or could have at least attempted to lose. Now, at this point I'm in a CC chain, and the stun I thought could actually save him, but because the paladin had bubble, he could bubble my stun. That really, really short clone just won them the game, and I actually had kick off cooldown. So if I had looked to stopping myself getting in CC at that moment in time and actually ended up kicking, then we would have ended up being able to keep our warlock alive and possibly won the game. But that is going to wrap up this game, and we're going to jump in to the next one. Well, guys, we're back, and welcome to the third and final game of this little pilot video. Just gonna see how this does. We're gonna be fighting against a arms warrior and a red paladin, and we're gonna just make our way over to the boxes as normal. I'm gonna hot up my warlock. I'm gonna get full stunned here in the opener. Now, in this game I was trying out Voodoo Tome. I see that the warrior and the paladin are trying to go offensive on me. The paladin decides to bubble, so he doesn't get voodooed. I get kicked. I'm going to gust of wind to the middle of the map. At this point, I'm needing to use another cooldown. I use a slow totem, and then I use a link. At this point, I could have recovered if I had not stopped casting after the end of my cast while I was walking. As you can see here, my cast was walking has ended, but my ascendance hasn't. I'm still spamming my healing, trying to heal, and just not being actually able to, because I'm moving, and then I gust of wind and bounce with the boxes. This is a very simple game to end on, and a very easy game to analyze about why I screwed up. I just decided I would move when trying to cast, and And yeah, so that's gonna wrap up the end of this video. Sorry if this last game was a little bit short for you guys, but this is gonna be a little series I'm gonna be trying out, and we're going to be doing our best to kind of continue this series. It may not always be on Shaman, but that's what I've been playing a lot in Arena at the moment. Now, these games were low MMR, but I have barely any gear on my Shaman, for one, and two, I was also just learning the class and didn't really have any other talents or anything along those lines. So as we get into playing Shaman more, I'm sure we will get up in MMR, and then we can talk about some more higher level gameplay stuff. But I still feel that you guys can learn some stuff, and I can definitely get better at Shaman and get better at WoW in general by doing these little analyzing videos. So if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave it with a like, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.